So in order to change the completely white image to the vortex on the UI, let's go to our folders. Let's find the materials. And in the parent materials, let's duplicate the material parent vortex depth. And let's at the end say UI. We open that up. And in here we need to do a few key changes. So what we want to do here is, let me move my face, we change from material domain surface to material domain user interface. And we immediately see that this changed from like a giant thingy with lots of stuff to just that. Then the rest of the settings we keep as they are, but here we want to just clean up and we want this depth. We don't really need it because there's no depth in 2D. Instead, we want to connect the sphere mask of the first thing, this one here. This sphere mask, we just drag it all the way into the opacity. And then we double click here to make junction or whatever I want to call it like this. And just move it like that so it's a bit more readable. Delete the base color because that's just not needed anymore either. Drag that down. And I believe that the rest of the stuff will just remain as it is. See, so like that's what I meant in a video or two ago when I said that it's just going to be easy variation, copy-paste work. We save that. And what we want to do next is we want to find these materials. So again, in our tutorial materials in here. So there they are. So let's start with the red one because we seem to have that there. So duplicate it. And then at the end, put again UI. And then open that up. And then here in material parent vortex depth, change to material parent vortex depth UI. And then click this so you can preview. And I think there might not even be much that we want to change, honestly. I will double check for you. So pro tip, a few episodes ago we made like these different profiles, so you just can change to the profile to just observe. And it honestly kind of looks perfect here with black. So I don't think we need to change anything. So see how like just cool it is that we can reuse our stuff. So with that material created, we can now go to this, which is like the UI widget. We click designer. And here on the VFX screen, we can change to this. The way I'm going to do it is I click this. It navigates me and selects it for me. I click back here and I click here. It says image, but image can be a 2D shader because a 2D shader is an image. And we compile and we save. Now if I move this bell, there we go, it goes up. And if I save all and I drop into play, I can now run through the portal and we get the vortex, and it's matching for now by accident. If I were to go through a blue portal, it will not match. And I can prove that to you, not that you need it, but let's say blue. Save, play. It will just still do the red one. So next up, let's make it so it actually takes the correct one. And for that, we go back here and we've actually done the groundwork already, if I'm being honest with you. It's essentially this. And what we want to do is here, I'm going to take the VFX screen and drag it. And I'm going to say set brush from material. And this will be the red one. Let's disconnect the other ones just for the moment. Let's move this down. Let's duplicate twice, 4. Move that down again. Connect these. And then let's move this down. Let's duplicate twice, 4. Move that down again. Move that down again. Connect these. 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 Move that down again. Connect these find the red one, click, find it here, go back, select it there. Go to it again by clicking this, and then let's duplicate the blue one, call it UI at the end. Blue UI. Duplicate the rainbow, UI. Duplicate the yellow, UI. Open the blue one, change the material shader to the UI, save. Open rainbow, change and save. Open yellow, change and save. Click to select the yellow, click here, yellow is going to be this one, so drag that there. Connect all of these, don't forget. Find the rainbow one, click here, select it, connect it. Find the blue one, click here, select it, connect it, and then close all of them so our performance isn't drained. File, save, level, file, save all, play. So now I go through the red one and I'm red. I go through the blue one and I'm blue. Perfect. I go through rainbow and I am rainbow. Amazing. So that is the bulk of the work done, and the only thing that we're missing right now is right after this here, I want to be setting and playing particles on the screen as well. These particles will essentially give me a variation of these bells, particulates and these lines, but on my UI element. And in order to do that, I use the following. I use the Niagara UI Renderer. It's created by Michael Smollen. I hope I didn't get that name wrong. And it's a free plugin for Unreal Engine. I'll put the link to this in the description, but I'll show you how to install it as well. So you want to navigate to your Epic Launcher and you want to go to FAP. Inside of FAP you want to look for this Niagara UI Renderer. So here search for it. And it pops up as a product, tools and plugins. By the way, I'm not affiliated in any way to this plugin or to Michael Smollen, though I am very grateful that they've created this because it serves perfect purpose to me. So once you've found it, click install plugin. Wait for that to happen, and after it's been installed, go back to your Unreal Engine tab. Sorry, not the games library, but to the Unreal Engine tab. And here, click installed plugins, and you should see the Niagara UI Renderer because you got it from FAP a few moments ago. If you don't see it, perhaps look for it here. So say Niagara UI Renderer and click this button install to engine, and it should install it to your latest version. By the way, while you're doing this, please have the engine closed. I forgot to mention that, but obviously that is important. And with that installed, it should appear in installed plugins. You launch your engine, you go into edit, plugins, and here you search for Niagara UI Renderer, and it might be off. Please tick it on. And it might ask you to restart the engine after you've ticked it off. If it does that, please restart. After you've restarted and you're back with us, we head into our blueprint for the UI. And here, in the designer view, I clicked on designer view. Under the grid panel, we want to create this new Niagara system widget. This exists now because we installed the plugin. If this doesn't appear to you, it's because your plugin hasn't installed correctly, so go back a few steps and try to figure out installing it. I think I described it for you, so it should be okay. Drag that into the grid panel. And now here there are a few different ways to get this working and giving you different colored particle effects. I'll show you the way I ended up doing it for a few good reasons that I'll describe in a few moments. The first way would be here in Niagara system, we just put one color and then we switch this through this logic, and that way we change our colors. But I found a bug, and I am not too sure if that bug is with Epic and Unreal or if it's a bug by the creator of the plugin. But essentially when I switch dynamically the color of the widget by changing the Niagara system, it creates like really bad lines, artificial lines in my Niagara ribbon renderer, the ribbon that goes like this. It instead starts doing this. It's a bit crazy. And my way to alleviate that was to just then copy this 4 times to have it for each different color. So I'm going to suggest you do that as well. Let's start with the top one. Here in Niagara system, we want to do a few things. So like I'm gonna delete this because we're gonna make one and then name stuff. But desired widget size should be to 1K because our thing is 1K. Here everything stays as it is. Auto activate is on. Behavior, everything stays as it is. I don't think we change anything here, so that's perfect. And now we just need to create an actual VFX that works. So for that, we will do a bit of what we did with this, where we changed it from 3D to 2D. And let me show you how I did that. Let's navigate to the VFX that we did. And let's do the following. Nene's Blue Portal Vortex, we want to duplicate, and we want to again at the end say UI. We open it, and inside of here what we essentially want to do, that bugged again, is we want to change this sprite renderer and this ribbon renderer together with these two. These material shaders here are shaders related to ordinary Epic Niagara system that is like one used in the 3D world, and we want to change it to one that is to be used with 2D interface and actually works with the third-party plugin that we just installed, which enables us and gives us this. And to do that, navigate to this sprite renderer, click browse, and it gives you this folder that is like in the default assets. Unreal, this is Unreal Engine like related pieces that ship with the engine itself. Scroll back up while this folder is open and find our tutorial folder with the materials and the parent materials. Don't click on anything, but instead drag these over parent materials. It says move or copy, let go. And we don't want to move it because we don't want to mess up the engine. We want to copy here. Now do the same for the default ribbon material. Over to parent materials, let go, copy here. Now we're done from here, so navigate back there. And these new ones say underscore UI at the end, underscore UI. And let's start with the sprite, so like this bell. So we need to do a few really easy tweaks here. We want to change the material domain to be user interface and particle color as input data. That doesn't exist in user interface. Instead, we want to do vertex color, and this goes in here. Essentially replace the way you see them, dot to dot, this to, it's B, right? Yes, to B. And this is not needed anymore, this can stay where it was. And the way I did it in my other one, by the way, because let's imagine another artist, tech artist opens this and they're like, what the heck is this? So in my other one, I put this. So in my particle color, I commented and I said this was the original, but for the Niagara UI plugin, I had to replace it for Vortex color above. The step before was to change the material domain from whatever it was to surface. So like what we did here. I just like leaving notes like that for myself, because otherwise I'm like, what the heck did I do here? And again, as mentioned, if this is a project where you're working and collaborating with other people as well, you want to be tidy. And now let's go into the default ribbon and do the same. Change from surface to user interface. Change particle to vortex color. RGB goes to final color. Alpha goes to multiply. This can go here. And I can just place my comment because I like being tidy. And these look awful. Fix them. Save. Click on this one, the bell, navigate to it. Click on to your system, the one that we duplicated and says UI. And here in the sprite renderer, change it. After you've changed it, this warning is to be expected. So next, navigate to the ribbon and change the ribbon to this as well. Then navigate back to your bell and change the bells on this and on this and save. So this is the blue one that we just made. So we're going to face another challenge here. After we've done this, we have another problem. This portal, when we look at the front of it, it points with the X axis. But the plugin that we just used actually uses the Y axis as a forward. So we essentially need to rotate our entire system. We'll do that in a moment because I want to visualize to you the issue. And what better way to do that than to just navigate to this, go in here, and then plop it for use over here. It says that there's an issue. That reminds me to go back to the system and to change it from GPU to be a CPU sim. And I want to do that to each component. This is a requirement of the plugin that we're using. It runs on the CPU, not on the GPU. With that done, if we go back here, we see that there isn't an error anymore. And now you can actually see a visualization of what I was explaining. And I think it's a rather charming visualization because we want it to be like this, but we are getting this because we are looking at it from the other angle. So let's fix that. So we're going to go to the rotate around point and we will do the following. Here down in the setup, we're going to change to 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. And see, we already have started to rotate. So part of our work is already on the y-axis. We look up and here amplitude min-max, we go and invert it 1, 0. And that's about it in here. We go to gravity force and we invert again and we go 0, minus 20. We essentially change to a different axis. And it does that for us. We go to vertex force and we change the axis to 0 and then 1. And here, the vortex, we go 0, minus 295, essentially again changing the axis. And see, that is our ribbon done. That's perfect. Like it's on the y-axis now. So if I save and I look back, we can see the lines are correct now, and we just don't have the other particulates correct. So let's go back and let's fix them. So in the gravity force, we go 0 and minus 20. In the vortex force, we go 1 instead of minus 1. And vortex origin offset, we don't need it anymore, we go 0. And vertex axis here, I think I'll go -30. So immediately that fixes it for us. Save, and you can see. There we go. And then the final colored ones. Click on their shape location. Rotation axis 0, 1. Offset 0, 0, 0. And then go to vertex force and go from -1 to 1. And then like 6. And then the offset we don't want it, so 0. And there we go. That is our blue one done. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to bind it so it appears and disappears with the rest of the system. So we click on the animation, and here we click add, and then we say Niagara system widget 59, which is this blue. It appears right there. And let's actually name it, because it's silly for us to not. Let's say NS blue. NS is for Niagara system. And at the 0, let's give it opacity of 0 and press this to bind it. Then I want to go up to 20 here, and I still want to keep it to be 0, so I'm going to bow it again. And then on the next step, like around here, I want it now to be 1. So I go 1 and I bow it. And then I go up to 0.8 and I click again to bow it. Cool. So this is cool, but like the size does not match, so let's fix that. Okay. So after a bit of digging, I finally found it. So like click, you can click on the animation and then move up, so you can see everything. But in the NS blue, if you go down, there is transform and there's scale, and this scale, let's put it to 3:3. There you go. Otherwise it doesn't match. I mean, you can either do 3:3 or like, again, up to you, whatever you like. Okay. I think I'll keep it to 3:3 for now. And yes, compile and save. And now, if I were to test it, it's just gonna do the blue one. Yeah, cool. Like that's the bug thingy again. Or like me just doing something wrong. So let's go back here. Let's click away from the animation. Click here like that. So the animation is no longer there, it doesn't give you this selected darkening. Click on this and change its opacity to 0, and then compile and save. And now if you were to click on the animation and you put it up, it works as expected, which is brilliant. So it's not a bug, it's about whether you've selected an animation or not. Cool. And I think if we go through the red one, yes, it will just give us the blue one as well. Does it give us on this already on logic? Yes, no, I did. So perfect. So next, let's just change it so it actually plays the correct one. So this is the blue one. Let's Control-C-V and again and again. And let's say red, yellow, rainbow. And for the red one, I'm going to be a bit cheeky, okay? And I will, because I've rotated it the correct way, I'll just navigate to this blue one and duplicate it, because frankly, I don't intend to be doing all of the tons of work in rotation. Instead, I'll just say red here, and I'll go into this, and I'm going to close this because it's not needed anymore. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to recolor it. So because we were doing UI and we were doing vertex color, this always will appear black and white. Because the intention of this, by the way, is that you can then select the piece from here, and the vertex color is decent. You can recolor it from here. I didn't do it to work that way because I didn't get nearly as much control over the hues. So I'll just suggest you do it the way I do, even though I admit to you this is not the most optimized way. It just works for us, which is great. So in the initialize particle, I'm in the red one. I will change the color to this hex, and you can copy it off of me off the screen. There you go, this one. Then the next one, I will change to this hex sRGB. Copy that from me. And then the one after, I will change to this, which was like a similar hue, but whatever, copy it from me. Wonderful. And then here, so that's done, and let's preview it for you. Hide this, and on this one, these are not binded here, by the way, which is less than ideal. But yeah, we'll have to do it again. So click add the red one. On the first second, do that. Then over here, press it again. Then over here, go with 1 and press it. And then here, press it again. And select it, the red one, and change to this. There we go. So that's now red for us. And it's just a small detail, because like I already saw about the details. Here we're jittering like this. Sorry for the lag, but you can see how it makes the line very detailed in a jittery way. That doesn't exist on the blue one. This is my difference between the two. So let's fix that and go in here. And here in the particle spawn, click the plus and then say jitter position. And for the jitter amount, I want something tiny like 2. Then save. And you can see that now this is what we wanted and this is what we were expecting. So let's do that with the other colors, but I'm going to restart the recording so we don't lose anything. I'll be right back. Because that way we make it like appear on screen slowly. I don't know why I made a sound effect, but sure. And then back out from the screen.